Hello and welcome back. Thank you for subscribing to my channel, Infoverse Tech, where we explore new technologies including big data, machine learning, artificial intelligence, and so on. Today we will be following up on a video that I uploaded a couple of weeks back, where we looked at a very powerful library from Python called StreamLit. And you can go back to my site and have a look at introduction to StreamLit, and it covers the basic functionality just to get everyone started on exploring this fantastic library. Today I'm going to talk about StreamLit but some advanced functions. So we're going to see how we can create slide bars, select boxes, comment boxes, and so on. So let's get started. As usual, I have already run the application. As you can see here, the command is streamlit run and the name of the file ending in py. So it's running and it's displaying at 8501 and it's a local port, local host. What I'm going to do is I've changed the format a little bit to make it easier. I've already tested the code and I'll be copying and pasting, so it'll be faster and hopefully more useful as a teaching aid. So the first thing I'm going to do is just copy the regular libraries that we need for this tutorial, including NumPy, pandas, time, and again the first one on line 2 is streamlit, and we are importing it as st, and that is the main library that we are going to learn about today. So let me move ahead with so we've imported those libraries. I'm going to now import some let's do some interactive widgets. So the one that I am going to show here is it's an interactive widget, and it shows you how you can use like button to display and then act on that. So you have a for loop that you have an if and else loop. So let's see how this works. So I'm going to save this, and you can see it's running now. So as it says, example of streamlit interactive widgets, click the button below. Okay, when I click it and if I say hello, it says you click the button. So basically this is just a text saying click that button, and the actual code is here. If I click on say hello, it says you click the button, and otherwise it's just says goodbye, right? So very easy to, very simple if else loops, but you can see how it can be incorporated in an application to make it very powerful. Okay, let's take a look at another one, which is checkbox widget, and let me add it here and let's run that. Okay, so here this is a checkbox example. I can select this, I can unselect it. If I select I agree, it says great, as per the function. So it's just a simple if else. So if I select it, it says great. Otherwise, if I don't, it says you didn't select great, right? Again, very simple, but shows the power of this library to just using very simple structure like st.checkbox or st.button, and you can achieve this kind of display here. Let's move on to let's say a radio button. So let me copy that here, the code. And as you can see, my aim is to convey a lot of information but not take a lot of your time as well. So I like to keep it to 10 minutes ideally, and you can always go back. It's a video, you can go back and try this code at your own time. But initially I would like to spend as little time explaining as possible. So that's why I think this format works. Copy and paste, and the code has already been tested, hopefully. you know how live demos are. Okay, so this is an example of a radio button. I have 1, 2, 3. All of these are displayed here. So st.radio, and whatever I present or provide in those square brackets is the what shows up here. And in this format, I can only select one of them, as you can see. And let's take a look at another. So here I just am showing 3 different qualifications, an if-else loop, and the question is, what is your highest qualification? So I can choose one of them. When I choose bachelor's, you can see if I choose bachelor, then I have certain text that I print out. If the other qualification, and finally if none of these, the last one is PhD here. So let's just quickly run through them. So bachelor's, great, you have completed 16 years of education. If I click on master's, you've completed 18 years. And if I select PhD, it says you are a highly qualified person. So again, very simple if-else statement, and you can see how nicely and how well formatted your radio button can be using this. In this case, we're using the st.radio widget of StreamLit. Okay, let's have a look at a select box, and let's do it here, and let's run that. So save, and it runs here. So here I have 3 numbers as depicted here. So 1, 2, 3. I can choose one of them. I can choose 2, 3, you know. And if I just make it as an example, make it 4 and save it, you'll see that it's, as soon as I save it, because it's set at always run, it immediately shows up here. Okay, the other one we are going to look at is what is your favorite social media platform, and I have some choices, and then the choice that I select will be presented here. So I have Facebook, Instagram, WhatsApp, LinkedIn, Snapchat. Let's select WhatsApp. So it just tells me that I selected WhatsApp. If I select LinkedIn, and so on. So again, that's just showing using the st.select box widget, you can achieve this. So in my final module for StreamLit, I'll actually design an application, and then we'll be using bits and pieces of these that we're learning today, and you'll see that you can come up with a very powerful interactive application that can respond to a user input and provide the required result. So let's move on. So this was as you can see, I could only select one. Let's have a look at multi-select. So let's give that a shot, and maybe just to make it a little easier, perhaps we can just comment these out, or even let me just remove these. So I just want to have some space available so everyone can see it. So I'm just using the multi-select. Let's save that, and you can see that one went away, and I have another one. So here in this multi-select, what I'm doing, I have 3 options, and within the multi-select I can show different car brands in this example, and I should be able to choose multiple selections. So I have Toyota, Mazda, Ferrari, Aston Martin, etc. So I like Mazda, and I like Rolls-Royce, right? So you can see I can actually select more. Maybe I can select all of them, and as I select them, they show up in like an array form at the bottom there. So very nice way to present information. You can select you can have multiple select, and again, these are real world applications where in some cases you need a radio button, some cases you need a select box with a single, you just restrict the user to a single selection, and in some cases you need multiple selections, right? We've all filled out forms, online forms, and we've come across these use cases. Okay, so just again to make free up some space, let me get rid of this stuff. So we'll have some space here for the next one that's coming up. Let's see. So the next one we're going to look at is a slider. So let's like that. widget is appropriately named st.slider, and let's see what is this doing. So let me get rid of this as well. And let's run that again. So again, we have some space to move around with. Okay, so here it says slide me. I have a minimum value of 0, minimum value of 10, so 0 and 10, and as I move it and wherever I stop it, so you can see it's just integer. It's jumping to 5 to 4. There are no fractions here, and as I move it along, it shows me the what's the number that's represented there. And so it's between 0 minimum value and 10 maximum value, which I've specified here. The other one is asking how old are you, and between age of 0 to 110, I could also say how many years old. As I move the slider, it tells me below what is my age. So I'm 65 years old, or I'm 31 years old, wherever I leave this. So again, real world application. The last one is actually a range of values that I can select, and as you can see, between 0 and 100, and here it can take you can see it's more precise in terms of the it's got fractions, which the other ones did not have. They had integer values. This one is fractions. So again, depending on your application, you might need to have more precise measurement as an example, and you can then use this format to have those precise measurements. Okay, let's have a look at one that can actually do some calculation. So let me just enter it here, and again let me just take these out so it's clearer, everybody can follow. Okay, let's run that. Okay, I believe this should be a comment there. Okay, now that's good. So here what we're doing is we have st.slider, that's the widget name, and I'm using st.write. As we learned in the previous module or previous tutorial, write widget is very powerful. It can handle a lot of things. So here we are actually handling you'll be able to cube a number. So you can see as I move x, if I move it to 26, it goes to whatever the cube of 26, and so on. So you can end up with a very large number. You can play around with this. Let's make it square of that number, and let's see how that works. So as you can see, if I bring it to 10, I get 100, which is correct. So again, very powerful, using the st.write widget, allowing me to have this actual calculation built in here. So let me take it back to cube. Let's save it, and you can see that now cube of 10 is actually 1000. So again, very good way to insert into your application and use it for a real world case. Okay, let's take a look at the other one, which is called spinner, and this may be used for inserting like an interval. So let's see how that runs. Okay, so here we're calling it spinner. What it does, you can use like a time.sleep, and once that's complete, it announces done or success. So let's run that again. You can see it'll run for that time period and then show you that it's run. So let's do that again. This time it's slightly longer, it's 0.8. I can make it 1, which might be slightly longer, but that should also work. So it says wait for it while it's running. So you could insert this. Maybe you're copying something, you can add that to your application. Let's move on to the next one. Let's see, let's look at progress bar. Okay, let's see, it can actually show you a progress bar while maybe you're downloading something or Let me use that as a comment, and let's run that. Okay, so this is an example of a StreamLit progress widget, and again at this time it's using 3 seconds. I can maybe change it to 5 seconds, and let's rerun that. So it displays that, and then once that timer completes, it will display that. And now you know why we used import time, because it's allowing us to do this. We can also have some, like it's been all serious stuff. We can also have some fun. So they allow you to do what is called like a balloon, more towards celebration. So let's try that. And all it does is just draws balloons. Okay, let it complete, and there you go. Right, so you can add it once a certain task completes. You can maybe add those balloons. Maybe we can run that again and a little quicker, so we don't have to wait that long. So as soon as it completes, it runs, and you can, just fun stuff. Let's look at an actual progress bar, and I will add it here, but I will take out some of the, so it's it gives us some room there. Okay, let's run that. So this would be an example of a progress bar, and how it works is that you are again using the st.write. You have some variable called my_bar, and using the widget called st.progress. You have a for loop, and in that for loop you can count to a certain range, and then you sleep for a time period, and then you show that progress bar. So it's all built into that. All you need is to set the time, and StreamLit will do the rest for you. So perhaps you're downloading some software and you need to show how it progresses. So this is a very nice and easy way to show that progress bar. Okay, let's have a look at some other code. This one is also interesting in the sense that okay, so let's run that. So in this case, what's happening is we're using something called st.empty, and this is a widget that can, once you insert those empty slots, they can be filled up with various either text or some graphic. In this case, we are first printing an empty a sentence, and we filling the second slot with a chart, and the third is just another text. So depending on what comes there, it'll automatically st.empty widget will fill those empty slots based on the order in which they arrive. So again, very interesting way to add to your application. Okay, let me just clean that up so that we have some room. The last one that we're looking at is actually like a map function, and given the right coordinates, it can map this data for you. So in this case, we're using something called st.map. So the StreamLit widget is called st.map, and once we have that map data, the variable is called map_data, and we are creating it from a data frame with some random variables, and we're actually converting it into sort of a latitude longitude. And once that information is generated, you can use the StreamLit.map widget to display that map. So let's have a look how that runs. and you can see that it ran, and it depending on the coordinates given, the latitude and longitude, we see that it populated or showing Karachi and all those data points. And maybe we can change that to some other coordinates, and maybe some other city will come up. So let's see, let's make it something like, let's see what that ends up with. Okay, so somewhere, not sure, but again, the idea is that you generate those data points, assign them to a map underscore data variable, and then st.map widget will plot that data based on those data points. So again, very useful, very powerful widget to display data. So thank you very much for following. I know it was a little rushed, but all the code is there, it's been tested. So I would encourage you to follow this video, and do try these commands in your own time, and hopefully you learn how to use StreamLit. I'll be following up with additional videos, and this one was a little more advanced. The next one will be data visualization widgets, and the last one I want to do is to actually create like a real world application using these concepts that we learned today. Thank you, and if you haven't subscribed already, do hit that subscribe button, and stay tuned for more videos. Take care.